All right, everybody, welcome to Wormbait One Day. I will be your host here. This is a new channel I'm making. Reason I'm making a new channel just from my main channel with, well, no following really whatsoever is that I don't want to get things mixed up with it where it seems like it's too political or too crazy. Because here I'll mainly be talking about how things affect men in the world that we live in today. And one of the big things we have going on is the Ukraine crisis, conflict, war, what have you call it right now. It is February 26, 2022. And one of the main reasons I want to talk about is how the footage in the news reviews everything pertaining to it, especially kind of men and what they're supposed to do with it. So I won't say any of those things that are in the broadcasts. We'll play them first, then we'll kind of just discuss them. But I mean, even myself personally, I'm fortunate. I'm far away from the conflict with where I'm at. Is it directly affecting me right now? It is not. But you still have fear among people, and with that fear that people act on, you'll hear from people, and typically in societal crisis, men are who's looked at to solve it, to take care of it, to go over it. You know, it's always, we don't need no man, but then when the going gets rough, where have all the men gone? So, I mean, even myself specifically, again, I'm far from the conflict, but I've had two individuals, females, both female, that have kind of reestablished contact with me. You know, hey, how are you doing? Haven't heard from you kind of thing. And they're doing that to keep a line open. So if things go bad, they're hoping they have a fallback. They have somebody that can take care of it, whether it be provide protection, get a job done, what have you. And that's animal instinct. Self-preservation, you know, becomes paramount at any cost to individuals, male or female. So, but women, when they're going to go about it, typically are going to look for a protector instead of ways to protect themselves, where a fella is going to kind of start figuring out, okay, well, how am I going to hold down this fort? What are the steps I'm going to take? And typically men also, too, look out to how they will protect their community and their society, which is what we'll do to go into Ukraine. So I have a total of 3 different videos we're going to play parts, bits, pieces of here. And then we're just going to kind of talk about them a little bit. And then on some of the videos, we'll even review the comments, see what they have to say. But I think this will kind of just show with Ukraine how, you know, the men of the society are expected to bear the brunt and come up with the solutions for the problem at hand. So protect yourself, fellas. Don't fall for any crap. You know, especially if someone is trying to touch base, all of a sudden keep in line, keep contact, see how everything is. Oh, I'm so sorry. Just be aware. I'm not saying that it's not heartfelt, the people reaching out to you or anything like that, but just be wary. I know sure as crap that I was, so yeah, don't even, you know, I took my approach of, hey, don't even deal with kind of thing. But hey, ultimately that's up to you. Just know that if you do decide to rekindle or figure out, you know, that past relationship or how to rebuild it or anything like that, just know you might be expected to do a lot if things do go bad. Are things going to go bad? Hey, I don't know. I do study history, things like that. Do I have an opinion? I do. But hey, it is what it is. So, you know, ultimately we have a ruling class and they tell us how to go, where to go, what to do. And that's even in Russia. There's many anti-war protests that are getting snuffed out. So without further ado, let's let's do it. Enough BSing. So I'll go here to the screen. All right, we have video number 1 from WPLG Local 10. Russian forces close on Kyiv, Kyiv. That is the capital, I believe, of Ukraine. We won't look at the comments just yet, but we'll full screen this, and we will play this video until I feel we need to have a small discussion on what
Putin directly. All of this as the humanitarian crisis grows with hundreds of thousands fleeing Ukraine. The battle for Ukraine's capital now turning critical, with concerns Russian troops could try to take Kyiv at any moment. Ukrainian President Zelensky addressing his people, warning that the night will be, quote, tough, and asking them to, quote, burn down enemies' tanks and armor with whatever means. Ukrainian authorities have handed out 18,000 weapons to civilians, and men ages 18 to 60 are not being allowed to leave the country. Instead, they're being ordered to stay and fight. ABC's Ian Pannell is in Ukraine.
Once again, air raid.
Okay, so for that, comments I want to make, the biggest one's that last one. Men aged 18 to 60 are being ordered to stay and fight. And before that, we had the clip with the Ukrainian president, pictured here. Oh. Apparently I'm bad at following timestamps. There he is. Pictured here, asking his citizens to use whatever means necessary. There are a lot of people standing up for this guy, saying that he is getting in there. I guess he's evacuated his family, and he is staying back at the Capitol to defend it. He's saying surrender is not an option. Very honorable. Nothing wrong with that, but you're going to pull everyone into the meat grinder with him. You notice it's all men, not all able-bodied individuals aged 18 to 60, which I think is kind of bit high. They're already scraping bottom of the barrel maybe. But men aged 18 to 60 are being pulled into this. So, you know, again, hey, the going gets rough. Men, come help us out and use whatever means necessary is what the government, the ruling class, is telling these men. And the government has handed out over 18,000 rifles, according to the report. 18,000 rifles in order to help fight the invasion. So they're giving these men, aged 18 to 60, they're giving these men guns. Do these men have training? Do these men, what's going on with that? Which that we'll touch on a little bit more in video 2 here. But on video 1, kind of interesting, I thought, when I first saw this article here, or not article, when I first saw the news video, this was one of the comments, which I thought was gold. I had to screenshot it. It is no longer up. Did the person that posted it pull it? Was it pulled because of YouTube? I don't know. There were at the time 5 comments back to it, and it basically was people that were upset with him. They didn't have, you know, can't go off likes, but the comments that responded didn't really have any likes, but this one did have 13. And I agreed with it. I agree with it. I didn't check it, but or thumbs up it, but I agreed with it. So, 53 seconds in that video. Men ordered to stay and fight. Again, aged 18 to 60. I'll read the comment. I'm not sure why they should. At the beginning of democracy, only men could vote. Now most voters are women and generally left. This explains overpopulation, unwanted immigration, and a bloated welfare state. Also, biased custody, I 1,000% agree on that. Sorry to interrupt. 1,000% agree on that. Back to the comment. Support, employment, and healthcare laws. Why should men fight for this? It's a very valid point. If men are not getting, let's just say, equal treatment. I'm not saying superior treatment. I'm not saying you got to put the man up on the pedestal, anything like that. I'm just saying equal treatment, and especially with the biased custody, judicial branch is totally against men. We'll touch more on that later. But all this stuff, you could argue is against men. Some of the points, is he coming off a little harsh? Yeah, I could see how someone reads that. So, oh my gosh, you're saying, women can't vote. Well, not necessarily. It's just he's saying if things are unequal towards that side of the spectrum, why is it that men are being called to duty to fight for it, but women aren't? And we'll show a video. Third video I plan to show shows people evacuating the nation, getting out of Ukraine. Back to it. Unwanted immigrants and refugees. Why should men risk their lives for them? As women dominate voting, and if they want to defend their biased laws, put them on the front line. Hey, equality. I think it's easy to make an argument. Ultimately, if the average man or the average woman would make a better soldier, I think it's very easily skewed one way, and there's a reason why, because of that basic assumption, I'll say fact. I know that's that's wrong, but the basic fact that there is, say, I think the term's not gender, I want to say sex. One sex, males, there I'll say it. Men are typically better warriors. They're more aggressive. How they think, how they fight. They are stronger typically. I'm not saying women are weak. I'm saying the average man is typically bigger and stronger than the average woman. I'm not saying there aren't women out there that can't kick ass, and I'm not saying there are men out there that aren't total pushovers. So there's a reason why when there's a draft, able-bodied men, selective service in the United States, when you sign up on your selective service form, men are who go and fight. Anyways, back to the comment though. I believe this VSST DTBS had a point. He had a point. So when I was scrounging it, looking for his comment, let's see here. I can't find anything. It's not here. There is one. I'll touch base on that. Let's do that while we go down, and then we'll kind of look at more. Most of the comments are respect to Ukraine. I feel sad for the people. I'm rather surprised how soft-handed Russia is being with the invasion. Putin. Blah, blah, blah. There was this one comment I picked out I kind of liked, so I put this so it'd catch my eye when I'm going over it. Again, hitting on the 18 to 60-year-old men here. Are forced to fight and can't leave their country. Men, not individuals, men. That is absurd. Those civilians will not stand a chance in battle. And our second video is about a fella defending a bridge by himself, and he's only ever fired 16 rounds in his life. But he's to stand his ground, so he's inexperienced. So shouldn't say inexperienced women, perhaps, be able to also hold it down. Not saying women should. I'm just making a point. It's men. We look towards the men to get the job done at hand of defense. Stay strong, Ukraine. People talking about the bravery of Ukraine. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm so sick of hearing about sanctions. Yeah, so that was. I kind of cruised these real quick, and that was the only one I saw that kind of hit on that. And that was the first thing, too, I gathered from it, listening to it, and then finding that other comment here that I showed you, and now being gone, and then seeing Pierre's comment here. I agree. It sucks. I mean, ultimately, hey, I'm not there. I can't say. If I was in Ukraine, yeah, I'd probably stay and fight. That's me. But why in society is it always men that are expected to do that? And do men want to risk their lives for that in society if they don't believe they truly fit in society? Because this is another article I'm going to review hopefully in another video too. But 30% of men, I believe it was just in the United States, but 30% of men have checked out. They're not contributing to society. They're not paying taxes towards it. They're not supporting society. Well, yeah, why would they want to if they feel that society has abandoned them? I shouldn't even say feel. I could even argue no, but that's neither here nor there. Either way, if they feel wronged, maybe they should be listened out to. Sorry, so second video here. We're going to start forward. This one is from Sky News. I'll put all the links in the description in order of how we viewed them. But from Sky News, the title reads, Ukrainian soldier guarding Kyiv only fired 16 rounds in his life. Salute to the people. I feel for this young soldier. Some people say they feel for the men. Do they? It's, hey, get the YouTube comment, get the likes. It's all about the likes. Because let's see, are they? Yeah, Kizzy, that looks. Derek Murphy. Okay, that's hard to know. Okay, all right. So here's our president of Ukraine. How he was elected, things like that. I've heard Ukraine's not a democracy. I've heard that. I haven't looked into, so I will not comment on that. I have no feelings on that. But this is the elite class of Ukraine, one of the members of that elite class here. So let's blow this up and play this clip, and we'll quickly.
Many of the Ukrainian soldiers are very young and inexperienced. 21-year-old Sergei Petroshenko is the only soldier guarding a footbridge. He has fired 16 rounds in his life. Now he waits for the Russians. His home village has already fallen.
There are a Russian base in my village. And from my village they're gonna go here on Kyiv to capture it. Yeah, it's really scary and terrifying. I am called to my parents. They really scared. There's Russians in our village, enemies. There's tanks, heavy vehicle. I hope that they will be fine.
In their thousands, they descended on the central railway station, trying to get seats on any train heading south. Guards firing into the air, trying to maintain order. It rarely works with people already traumatized. It was chaotic and desperate, but that is... There are troops on street corners and under bridges, armored vehicles.
Okay. So there we saw a 21-year-old man, supposedly very inexperienced. He's fired 16 rounds in his life, guarding a bridge by himself. Seems a little absurd, but you could tell he's scared. He's afraid, but he's still there. He's still there doing what society asked for him, and he could be doing it too because he feels it's right. He does mention his family. He feels very, very sad. You can see he's a little distraught. He even at one time kind of does this, talking about his family. So he mentions in his home village where his family's at, the Russians are already there. And he's not with his family. He's away. Does he live at home? Does he? I don't know. But here he is, inexperienced, probably unfit for combat. I think it could easily be argued if you've only ever fired 16 rounds in your life. And it's kind of weird to have that count, I think, you know, instead of just saying less than 100, like, oh, I've only shot a gun 16 times. or not even 16 rounds, not even gone out 16 different times shooting, but just 16 rounds I fired. But there he is. He's doing what is expected of him, what he's supposed to do, or what he feels he's supposed to do because society maybe puts that on him. And he could feel that way too. And again, I think that is kind of a male trait to stand up and defend. I think, men generally are protectors. And again, not that women can't protect themselves. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying generally, average man would be a better protector than an average woman because of strength, size, those biological factors that we can't really deny. So that was the 16-year-old holding the bridge. Or I'm sorry, 21-year-old fired 16 shots. You can see very distraught. And didn't seem too experienced either, not just because he hasn't shot 16 shots. Very shaken. And his family's affected. His country's affected. His own village was affected. So, of course, he's going to be distraught. But, even if he was showing some of that, you could see he was distraught. He had fear, but he still was standing his ground. And, hey, as he gets older, best of luck to him and what he does and where he's at. But as he gets older, maybe he will get better at kind of shielding that, but still moving forward. And that's something men are kind of expected to do. Hey, if the going gets rough, wipe yourself off. Hey, it's just a scratch. Move forward. So you could see, though, he was very distraught. And he doesn't have combat experience. And that's going to be a hell of a thing. And I can't relate to that. I cannot. If I tried to pull in relations, it would be sad with things from my life because I have never seen active combat. Never. So, okay, third video. Oh, nope, it's this one. This one's a little more lighthearted. I like this. I liked all the videos, which is why I'm talking about them. But I like this one because it kind of shows how we just looked at that young soldier that was 21 and how shaken he was. And here's a guy, a Ukrainian citizen, a man, who's coming up on Russian soldiers, and he doesn't give a shit. He just kind of, what the men are expected to do and kind of what they do. Hey, shake it off. Keep going forward. So we're going to play this clip real quick, review it, and then we'll get this wrapped up.
Сломались, пацаны. Сломались.
Закончил соляр.
Можно оттащить на Россию обратно. А вы хоть знаете, куда вы едете?
Нет.
Куда? На Киев, блядь, хуярите. Да.
А что по новостям говорят?
Ну, у вас пока все на нашей стороне. Ваши и плен сдаются хорошо. Потому что тоже пацаны не знают, куда ехать, блядь. И я вот всю колонну пообспрашивал, таких как вы, никто не в курсе вообще, кто куда едет.
Oh, man. I like that one. I really liked it for a lot of reasons. One, this man just approaches an armored vehicle, which, yeah, they weren't a threat. They weren't at the ready or anything. And, I would imagine the Russian military is not going to actively engage a civilian if that civilian doesn't show any threat to them. And he's just driving, and he's got his hazards on, it sounds like, on his vehicle. But he drives right up to these Russians, and he starts talking to them, asking if they're broken down. They note they're out of gas. He then jokes, "Can I tow you back to Russia?" Which is pretty good. Kind of a nice way of saying, get the out of here. But again, trying to play it cool, even though they're on his nation's soil. Do you know where you're going? The Russians reply, they don't. And he says, yeah, everybody else that I've talked to doesn't know where the hell they're going. And then he gets sorry about that. And then he gets a knock at him by saying, oh yeah, you guys are surrendering, trying to imply they're surrendering in droves. Is that true? Might not be. And he might not even, and he might know it's not true, but he's still going to, he's going to f the opposition. He's going to mind game them. He's going to let them know, hey, you know, after they get this armored vehicle, I think it's a tank. After they get this vehicle refueled and they get going, he sowed a little doubt in their mind. He's just giving them something to think about. About, hey, you guys, you know, you are surrendering. You're not as strong as you think. You're not as strong as you think. But again, I mean, just the biggest thing, and I'll go back here. I'll play just the beginning again. Oh, I'm sorry. And this was from Guardian News. I'll put that link in the description. So again, just pulls up.
Сломались.
Закончил, сорян.
Можно оттащить на Россию обратно.
See, and even the guys laugh. You know, it's kind of, the Russians are probably just chuckling like a hey, but hey.
А вы хоть знаете, куда вы едете?
Нет.
Куда?
Я нет.
На Киев, бля, хуярите. Да.
А тебе по новостям говорят.
But again, he's screwing with them. I think it's great. And that's a guy thing. And even guys that are friends, they'll do this all the time. They constantly pick on each other. I got a friend that's Italian. He's a Dago. He's a Goomba. You know, there's the Italian army joke, especially about Italian soldiers World War II. But yeah, it is World War II. But the joke goes, well, I guess it's more of a statement, but it is a joke. Italian firearms from World War II are a great thing to have because they've never been fired and only dropped once. And, you know, another one is just quick and simple that I'll give them to, but what's the Italian army salute? You know, hands up, we surrender. We give each other shit, you know. Do I think Italian soldiers are useless? No. Yeah, their equipment wasn't great in the Second World War, that's true, but do I think their firearms were only dropped once and never fired? Absolutely not. They fought. You know, they were soldiers. But they're knocks. And that's what guys do. And even whether they're friends or enemies, we knock each other. And we do it with friends to almost solidify our bond. As dumb as that sounds. You know, hey, monkey nuts, get over here, or, you know, help me with this or do that or whatever. That's just guy talk. Here he's doing it to kind of screw with the guys, and they do have a laugh, and it might have been a heartfelt laugh from the Russians, but ultimately it's kind of like a chuckle, like, hey, piss off, buddy, is what I took it as. Oh, and we'll do highlights in another video here, but that was it. This is worm bait one day. Just remember, we're all going to be worm bait one day. It is what it is. We can't prevent it. But, hey, while we're here, make the best of it. Take care of yourself. Help people you care about. Be careful. Be careful, be safe. Which be safe's one that's been said a lot in the last 2 years, but be safe. So, to wrap this up, yeah, those are, I believe, again, the biggest thing I took from it was the 18 to 60-year-old men told they have to stay. Told they have to stay and fight. And it's just kind of expected of them. And people are fleeing, and men are fleeing too. Men aged 18 to 60 are fleeing, no doubt. They're not all staying, but the government issues an order for them to stay. The government doesn't consider having women put up a fight. And those men that are staying, this fella here, the president here of Ukraine, is stating, use whatever means necessary. So, you know, give your lives, do whatever you have to do, kind of thing. And there are plenty of Ukrainians that have, over the last couple days, given their lives. And best of luck to them. Peace on earth. Hopefully it can be attained. There's always going to be tensions. People will never always 100% get along. There's never not going to be accidents. There's never not going to be pain. There's never not going to be suffering. But we got to do best we can. And you never know what kind of difference you can make in someone else's life if you stay positive. So, all right, this is Worm Bait One Day. Thanks for watching, and have yourself a fantastic week.